Yo, it's your man MAS. I'm back with another one. All right, so in the spirit of anime, right? So normally, again, I like to do a lot of anime that people don't know about, but this time around, covering a lot more popular anime. Last video, I tackled Jobless Reincarnation. Just tackled a lot of different topics. A lot of people seem to enjoy it, hopefully. So this time around, we're tackling Jujutsu Kaisen. All right, that thing is pop. That thing is way more popular than I would have imagined. So, do I think it's a bad anime? No, but definitely this is something that would I have thought like, hey, it rose to the level that it did rise. No to that either. So it's definitely in the Raptors. So the One Pieces, the Naruto, the Bleaches. Jujutsu is very popular. A lot of people like that anime, but in regards to show topics, this time around we're covering where does Jujutsu Kaisen story rank amongst the greats, all right, the greats, the goats, in terms of storytelling, in terms of like your favorite anime, story wise, the best there ever was. Like, where does Jujutsu Kaisen rank in that? Because right now it's in the top five, just Crunchyroll for the most part. But I feel like most anime fans, like, that's the name that kind of pops out there. But in regards to story, and just keep in mind when I'm discussing a lot of these different animes, I know there's a manga. All right, we know. All right, there's a manga. That's not what a lot of my reviews are going to be about, right? It's strictly about the anime, and we ain't got time for reading. It's strictly about the anime, all right? So a lot of my impressions, a lot of my opinions are going to come from just strictly the anime. So strictly anime-wise, where does Jujutsu Kaisen story rank amongst the greatest? To answer your question, it's not that it's not that great in my opinion. It's not that great. All right. Let me look at the show notes in regards to the story. All right, so here's the issue with Jujutsu Kaisen, all right, in terms of the story. All right, is Jujutsu Kaisen a bad anime story-wise? No, all right? It's not. I've seen way worse. I've seen way better, right? But in terms of the greatest, I personally can't put it in that category. The thing that I find about Jujutsu Kaisen, which probably differs from the manga, it felt like they rushed the story, right? If the story is supposed to be that way, then I'm probably going to rank it worse, but it felt like they wanted to kind of force feed the power system, whereas telling an actual story and kind of letting the power system, explain itself naturally. So that's my take on that, right? Like, the Jujutsu Kaisen story isn't bad, but it felt like a lot of season one, especially season two, was nice. Season two was nice because it felt like a change of pace of, okay, what's the backstory of some of these characters? But season one, it was a lot of explaining the power system, explaining cursed energy, explaining domain expansion. It was a lot of explaining that, and I was just like, bro, like, can I get more? Not like character development. Can I get more like just general story? Even like, unless you want to make the argument that, hey, Jujutsu Kaisen story is based upon the power system and it's only based upon the power system, I mean, that's fine. But the reason why I can debunk that is because season two, there was more context, right? So in season two, there was definitely like a lot more context to the actual story, the place that moves, like Tenjin, I think, or Taigen, or something like that. And the person that's supposed to assimilate with that new person, and like, there was a lot more like sense of story in season two, not so much the power system. So maybe the argument was season one was supposed to be kind of just a lot of explaining, and then season two was more of the storytelling. But it definitely felt like, like they were really forcing the explanation of the power system in season one. I'm like, I get it, it's cool, my man, but can we tell more of the story? Also, shameless plug, my comic Citizen Evil. If you like the merch, definitely check out my comic in the description below. All right, but back on subject. But in terms of the greats, my honest opinion, if I had to grade Jujutsu Kaisen's story, like, it's not the greatest ever. Like, it's just not. All right, it's fine if you feel that way. It's fine if your opinions are hurt or your butt hurt. But Jujutsu Kaisen story wise is not. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'll probably give it like Season 2 was way better, but season 1, I probably give it like a C minus. Like it wasn't much like minus the power system. I feel like season 1 was strictly about the power system, so I can't put Jujutsu Kaisen, hey, the greatest story plot ever. It just isn't. It just isn't. The next topic, which is let's talk about the power system. All right. How do I feel about the power system? Is it yay or nay? Do y'all mess with it or do y'all not mess with it? All right. So my thing is the power system of Jujutsu Kaisen. It's solid. I don't think it's horrible, but I don't think it's overly great. Right? It's solid. You see in different power systems, it's like Chi, Kai. I know Hunter x Hunter is like it's another different power system, like Nay or something. Jujutsu Kaisen is strictly about curse energy, which is cool. It's fine, right? And it's the aspect of most people, I don't want to say most people, from what they explained, a lot of humans have curse energy. A lot of them are not knowing about their curse energy, how like they're releasing it. And, can you control your curse energy? Curse techniques, which I really liked. I'll give them credit. I really loved how they explained the aspect of, I think Gojo who explained it, like, hey, like, curse energy is like electricity and curse techniques are like appliances. So it's not just that, it's not enough to just have electricity. Now, I mean, it's like, all right, how can you utilize that electricity through appliances? So curse techniques are like appliances. So I love the explanation of it. Domain expansion. So like, I feel like they put a lot of effort into their power system. Now, is it the greatest power system I've ever seen? I mean, because there's the aspect of like, Hunter x Hunter power system, even like the exchange program in Jujutsu kind of reminded me of, the Hunter exam in Hunter x Hunter, which I kind of draw a lot of similarities to, or, the Naruto exam, like it's the typical anime trope in most animes, but with Jujutsu, I guess the thing was like the exchange program, which is fine, whatever, right? But no, the issue with the power system that I find with a lot of other animes is like, people fall through the cracks. All right, so meaning there are clearly characters that are like way overpowered, and then you try to kind of immerse the scene of the other characters, right? But like you can kind of tell eventually those characters fall through the crack. It's like the Dragon Ball Z complex where what's going on with my man Yamcha, right? Yamcha. So before, and I always tell people this, before Dragon Ball Z, before Dragon Ball Super, there was Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was is a whole thing entirely. Before Dragon Ball Z, like Dragon Ball was like it was widely known, right? And Dragon Ball Z it took it to the next level, right? But the issue with Dragon Ball in general, Dragon Ball Z, like the power creep was so real. You see it in video games all that. The power creep was so real that like characters like Yamcha are just literally like forgotten, thrown to the wayside. I got something in my show notes like Panda is pretty much like the next Yamcha. And again, all of this is based upon the anime, not the manga. So if Panda turns out to be this beast in the manga, I'm basing off the anime. All right. So stuff like Panda, I'm like, all right, like cool. Like every character has a gimmick, every character has like their own kind of secret technique, but like you could tell the discrepancy from a Panda and the main character that's combined with Sukuna. Like you could tell like there's a drastic difference in power level. Same thing with like certain curses, like Mahito or whatever. I'm probably butchering his name, I'm butcher all the names, but you could tell the difference in power systems. Where it's like, all right, like the power creep is real. At some point, these side characters that they're trying to exemplify are going to be like not a factor, right? So it's unfortunate that not all anime does a good job at trying to include like the side characters. So in the beginning of these shows, the side characters seem important, but then as you kind of dive deeper and deeper and deeper into the show, like they become more and more and more irrelevant to the point that they become a Yamcha. Whereas like he's like a meme. He's like, I don't think he's in further. Like I could be wrong, but in Dragon Ball Super, that's the last one I watched. I don't think he appeared in like more than 5 episodes. Yamcha himself, like he's that irrelevant. So like I can foresee a Panda, the chick that's nice with the cursed weapons. Like she's nice. I hope that no, she's probably gonna have like more of a role because of her clan and her sister. So I can assume that she's not completely gonna follow, but you can tell like certain characters just like the power creep is gonna be so real where it's like it's just not enough content to showcase them. So the creators probably go like, all right, you know, we go talk about Gojo and all the people that people want to talk about. They're gonna fall off, right? But power system wise, I would definitely grade the power system higher than the story plot, right? So it makes sense. They put a lot more dedication to their power systems versus the story plot. The story plot was like, it reminds me, like even different comparisons like Sukuna and the Fingers. It's like Inuyasha and the Shikonju. So all my Inuyasha fans, if you're old enough to know, you know, kind of collecting almost like Dragon Ball Z 2, like the Dragon Balls, the shards of the Shikanju. So this is Sukuna and the Fingers. So I love that equivalent. It's not bad. So I mean that's my thing on regards to the power system. Again, I feel like it's right in the middle, and I just haven't seen enough to be like, oh, this power system really stands out. All right, I actually think Hell's Paradise power system stands out more to me personally than Jujutsu Kaisen. But then again, Jujutsu Kaisen and Hell's Paradise power system, I feel like a lot of it you give it to the GOAT of Hunter x Hunter, where it's like, all right, like they did. I can't remember. They did an excellent job explaining the power system, Hunter x Hunter. All right, where does Jujutsu Kaisen action rank? Or the topic in hand is like, I don't think I've ever seen an anime what has amazing action has Jujutsu Kaisen. Like if I had to give a plus, like the reason why people are probably so addicted to this anime is like the action is like top tier. Like my friend, top tier. Jujutsu Kaisen action is top tier. All right. There's probably a few anime that even come close to that. For me, again, I'm like an old anime head. So I've watched all anime, regardless, right? But a lot of my inspirations come from like the older anime, the 90s anime. So the closest in terms of action, like raw action, was Hajime no Ippo, like the boxing anime. Like even though it's centered around the boxing sport, like that action is so intense that like you know, it just keeps you like staring. Like I can't stop staring when I watch Hajime no Ippo. That's how it is with Jujutsu Kaisen and the action. Like I'm trying to think of like anime action that comes close. One Punch Man I do like, but it's kind of like a meme. Like if you don't include the actual One Punch Man himself, the action is pretty good. But I mean, it's not like nothing I've seen is as close to as Jujutsu Kaisen like action scene. And you know, if I'm wrong, definitely comment in the comment section like what anime that you've seen has better action, like flat out, no questions asked, better action than Jujutsu Kaisen. Nothing. That's what I'm gonna say. But no, Jujutsu Kaisen action is top, my friend, like top tier. All right, I can't even like. But the issue with Jujutsu Kaisen, that's why I'm saying like discrepancy between the story versus the power system versus the action. And maybe this is me. I still watched everything, but when there's no action, I found myself kind of dozing off watching Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm just like wow, they're talking. Okay. They still talking? Oh, I want to fast forward, but oh, they fighting. All right, I'm tuned in. Like when they're fighting, the action scenes are just that fire. But the action, like maybe that's the compensation. Maybe it's done on purpose. Again, this is all based on the anime, nothing about the manga. But like the story kind of takes a hit. The power system kind of takes a little hit. And maybe their primary focus was on the action. So if that was the case, I can see why so many people are addicted to Jujutsu Kaisen because like, you know, not being a hater, like that is probably like the anime that I've seen that like the action has been like ridiculously good. It's been, and it's not just good where it's like, this is why I can't stand Dragon Ball Z fight scenes because like it's just whoever powers up the most. So like, all right, whoever is the last person to power up typically wins the fight. Dragon Ball Z tends to be like a lot of screaming. Like there's some martial arts, but like the more recent iterations of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or whatever Dragon Ball, like it's more like a screaming match, power up match, throwing energy at you match. like it's not really like martial arts per se, in my opinion. Like the originator of Dragon Ball, but Jujutsu Kaisen, like there's no like tricks like that. You could tell like they have the curse energy, they have like certain techniques, but a lot of it I still think is deeply rooted in martial arts. And the action scenes are clean. When I say clean, it's not just like a like, hey, I'm throwing energy at you, you're throwing energy at me, I'm throwing energy at you, you're throwing energy at me. Like there's some aspect of that in Jujutsu Kaisen, but it's a lot of clean combat, clean techniques. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of the focus was on the action, which I can see why I kind of raised it to that bar. But I do feel like everything else for Jujutsu Kaisen kind of took a hit. And it's unfortunate because I'm like, hey, like, or maybe this is best to explain. Everything else in Jujutsu Kaisen is like moderate. And the only thing that really excels in my eyes is the action. So the story is moderate, the power system is slightly more moderate, but excelling is action. All right. So if there's a better action anime out there, please, definitely talk about it in the comments. But action-wise, they got it. They got it. Please, if you love the videos, please like, comment, subscribe. I love the comments. Like, please tell me your opinions. If you like the channel, definitely subscribe, get more info whenever I drop a video. And again, a lot of this is coming from an anime fan like myself, right? So I love anime so much, I created my own series. All right, Citizen Evil right here. Let me see if I can show the shirt, Citizen Evil. You know what I mean? Like one of my illustrators illustrated the design for me. So these are all original characters. If you want to know more about the series, again, link is in the description. Free chapters, free stories. Of course, you have to subscribe, but you'll get to kind of read more. So it's not just enough for me to be critiquing these shows, but again, just kind of giving my input on like, hey, like not only is this something I love, but like, hey, I want to create something of my own. So that's what I'm doing here. So definitely check me out. And if you like the apparel, definitely check us out. The next topic, we talking about ghetto. All right. It doesn't sound like I'm talking about the ghetto, like G-E. No, Ghetto. I don't know how to spell that, but no, his name is spelled like Geto. So ghetto, right? Talent versus hard work. All right. So when I see season 2, I will say this: I loved season 2 way more than season 1. Right? I feel like season 2 had a bit more story versus season 1, and maybe that's by design, but Ghetto and Gojo, so you kind of see their side stories, which I love stuff like that. That's why I'm a big one. When I'm talking about these animes, I'm mainly talking about the story. Right? It's easy, in my opinion, to kind of, have flashy anime or anime tropes and stuff like that. But like, what makes most anime stand out is the story. That's why animes that's not focused on action or shonen, like they still do they still do really well, and it's because like, hey, their storytelling, character development is so fire. So I loved it when they kind of dove deeper into the relationship between Gojo, Ghetto. I'm probably just gonna call him Ghetto throughout the video, so just deal with that, right? And their backstory. And Gojo is literally like the golden child. So Superman, I don't think it's any secret. There's nothing he could do wrong. He's natural talent, and Ghetto is hard work. When I say Ghetto is hard work, what I mean is like, I think it was episode 29. Like this man looked like a tired out employee. Like this man was working 24-hour shifts. He had bags underneath his eyes. Granted, like Ghetto is talented too, but like he's the essence of hard work. He's nothing compared to Gojo, right? Who like things just come easy. But Ghetto is hard work to the point that like he pretty much turned into a villain, which I think he's extremely underrated. So the title of the video is going to be Ghetto underrated? Yes. Extremely underrated, extremely talented. At some point in the story, it seems like a curse took him over, like his body. Spoiler alert, but again, my video is all about spoilers. But before that, like he's been working 24-hour shifts, killing curses, absorbing them, and it being the same routine. Him getting his ass kicked in, like the one dude that Gojo eventually killed, but like him getting smacked up and still wanting to do the right thing. And you'll notice, like at least in my opinion, like the traits of like a good villain is like, hey, like they have their own purpose, right? And despite the fact that you might not agree with their purpose, it's not like they're driven to just like world domination or like to do bad things. They're driven by like, hey, they truly believe this is the right thing to do. That's the thing with like the Avengers and Thanos. Like, he was driven by like this reason. This is my reasoning, and it's gonna help you guys in the long run, despite you not feeling that. So when Ghetto had that realization of like, society would be better off like this, and of course he didn't have the realization. The girl told him. The girl threw out the idea. So I don't know what role she plays later down. She probably plays like a more major role, because I know that's like kind of Toto's mentor or something like that. The guy with the scar and the bun, but like he's like, yo, I am working these 24-hour shifts. I ain't getting no breaks, and if society could just be like this, life would be easier for everybody. Like people wouldn't have to die. I wouldn't have to be absorbing these dirty rags. He could curses to dirty rags. Like, yo, I want to do it like this. And then that was his motivation. And then he even said it in one of the later episodes too, where it's like, yo, me wanting to make everybody be able to like have curse energy, something like that, it's not easy for me, but it'll be easy for you, Gojo, because you're just naturally talented. So is something like that really not feasible, or something like that only feasible for somebody like you, somebody who's just naturally talented? So like, hey, does hard work beat talent? In real life, I would argue yes, right? In real life, it's very rare, but in real life, I would say yes. Like hard work can beat talent. But if I had to kind of argue, in most animes, hard work ain't beating talent. It's just not. And there are a million scenarios that we can go over. That can be a whole long video of like anime characters where the hard work actually beat the talented character who's just naturally gifted. But most animes, in my opinion, is like the character who's naturally talented, naturally overpowered, is just always going to be overpowered. And the character who works hard, they might have a chance sometimes, like a minimal chance, but like the minute the person who's overpowered, naturally gifted, actually puts in effort, like it's done, right? And that's how it is in most animes, and it's unfortunate because I don't think that's a reflection of real life, despite the fact that yes, it is rare in real life. But I would love to see some animes where hard work actually beats the talent, and like it's a definitive win, not like, oh, he won by like a sliver, because like it's the whole argument with like Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke is naturally talented. Naruto is trying, but was he really trying when he had like the beast in him? Like he was still technically talented to a certain point. But I mean, you get the idea. So if there are characters who are hardworking in anime that have beat a character who's overpowered and actually talented, and it was definitive, please let me know. I'm assuming it's probably going to be rare, but yeah, I mean that's my thing, right? I'll have more content coming. We'll see if we're going to be covering more popular anime or some more low-key ones. If you have something in mind that you want me to review, definitely let me know, all right? But it's your man, MAS. I'm out.